soul symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Saturday. It is the weekly energy card reading, and it is where you, the viewers, get to choose from one of 3 tarot or oracle decks, and we'll go through and do a general spread to see what the general energies will be like for the next 7 days. It does not need to be the week of August 14th through August 21st, 2021 in order for the messages to resonate. If you come across this reading at any time, there might be messages contained. Now, I just had a few brief announcements. There is something that I've been kind of contemplating for a while now, and I just wanted to give all of my watchers a heads up. By the end of this year, I might discontinue doing card readings. I will still do special readings for, like, just like special readings like love readings or card reviews. I will still utilize the channel for that. But I think by December 25th of 2021, I think that might be the last weekly energy card reading that I'm going to do. But I definitely appreciate it. This has been it's been a wonderful outlet for me. I'm so grateful for all who follow me and who watch the videos and who get something from the videos. And if I decide to ever to stop doing the readings, I just didn't want to be one of those channels that just stop posting. I want to give you an end date and a time. But what it is that filming the videos is a labor of love for me. I love to do it. I love tuning into your energies, and it's something that I really enjoy doing. But I think that I've been doing it for several years now, and I might be bringing it to a close at the end of this year. So that's still several months off. That's still more than a third of a year away. So not anytime soon, and definitely I'll still be around. I'm not disappearing forever. But I do just kind of want to focus on other projects and other channels that I have here on YouTube. So we'll see how it goes. But I just kind of wanted to give that announcement, and just to give you a heads up, because again, if I do decide to go that way, to stop doing readings, then I just don't want to just disappear one day and not give you a reason why. I would definitely tell you when that end date is. But alright guys, as always, we have 3 decks here. We like to keep the cards in rotation. The first deck we have is the Tarot of the Southwest Sacred Tribes by Violetta, and I'm forgetting her last name. I'm sorry. All of the names and the authors of the decks and materials I use are in the description box, so check that out. And I was really drawn. I haven't pulled out my bear in a long time, but on top of it we have a beautiful I'm sorry, this is a what is this? I'm sorry guys. This is a tiger's eye bear, and it's such a cute bear too. He's a great bear. So that is pile number 1. Pile number 2 is the Sun and Moon Tarot by Vanessa Decort. And on top of it we have a beautiful obsidian or dragon glass stone. And this is really great. This was actually tumbled by a friend of mine. A friend of mine really got into stone tumbling, and he made this for me. So this is a very special stone. It has a very good cleansing energy to it. Now the last deck we have is the Linestrider Tarot by Siolo Thompson. And on top of it we have a beautiful blue fluorite. Now, the oracle deck that we're using to clarify, again, I always kind of listen to my intuition, and I was drawn to pull out the secret color, the secret meaning of color cards. I'm sorry, the exact name of it. I'm goofing the name. But the name in the deck author is in the description box. And I actually got a new beautiful opalite dragonfly, and he kind of flies there. I love that stone. But dragonflies are very special to me. They're kind of my spirit animal, and they represent someone very close to me. So I love that imagery. But alright guys, I'll go ahead and give you a minute to choose. Please choose from your intuition. If you need more time, please pause the video, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. I'm going to go ahead and move up the other decks real quick. And if you are in the United States, it is hot, hot, hot. If you're in anywhere in North America, it's hot, hot, hot. If you're in South America, it's probably way hotter than normal. And my prayers really go out to other parts of the world, because you know that there's another really great channel here on YouTube, the Cottage Fairy, I think it is. And oh my gosh, just the wildfires in California and in the Midwest and Washington State, it's just been so catastrophic. It's been so sad. Also in Greece, I feel for those who are in Greece with the island fires. Alright guys, so deck number 1, the Tarot of the Southwest Sacred Tribes with the Tiger's Eye Bear. He's such a cute bear. I need to, you know, I swear to you guys, I love my stones, but I'm going to pull out like all of my stone animals. Maybe we'll do a stone animal video. That shouldn't take long at all. And we'll look at all the different animals I got, the menagerie. But beginning of the week, please. Okay, deck number 1. Ooh, you saw that popped right out. We got poppin'. Poppin'. Okay, we got some majors here, guys. 7 of Swords. Please clarify one extra card for this. Oh, I'm getting kind of a feeling here. I'm drawn to take all these cards, and it's gonna, hopefully it makes sense, guys, but okay, end of the week, please. Oh, how cool is that? Queen of Swords. Four of Cups. I know there's quite a bit of cards here. I kind of pull them and lay them out as I'm drawn to. Alright, let's go ahead and get this. It's going to be crazy reading all these cards. I won't make the reading long. We'll get through it. Okay, I'm drawn to this one. Brown. Establish boundaries. Holy crap. I am laughing my butt off, because that's exactly what I was thinking with all these swords. We got the Queen of Swords, and I'm like, she's all about boundaries. Establish boundaries. And there's quite a bit of like gardening here too, guys. Okay, I'm kind of getting a story, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. All right, beginning of the week, you got the King of Swords, and underneath it, you got the Four of Cups and the Hanged Man. The beginning of the week, guys, you are going to be way up in your head. And the crazy thing is, it's almost like, you know what it is that you're really going to be thinking about you're going to be thinking about your current circumstances. You're going to be feeling a little lethargic. To be honest, guys, I kind of feel like you're, you know how sometimes you get to the point in life where you start contemplating, like, you think, what is my life's purpose? Or you think, okay, what is this all about? What I'm really getting here is, and you can be a man or a woman in this energy, but what I'm really getting here is that over the weekend and into the beginning of the week, you're going to be feeling really kind of like life is feeling kind of mad. Like you're trying, what I'm getting is you're trying to keep happy. I feel like you're doing things, and the traditional Four of Cups talks about like this cup coming out of a cloud, like almost like a cup from the universe being handed to you, but you're almost not interested, because you're feeling kind of like you're either feeling jaded, or you're just feeling like, God, I've got enough on my plate. I can't. You know what? It's almost like I am getting like, I'm getting a strong sense, guys, that there's kind of like a lethargy. There's some kind of discontent. There's some kind of discontent that's going on beneath the surface, and it's very emotional over the weekend and into the beginning of the week. And it has you wanting to analyze it. Because the King of Swords is the king of thought, right? He's the king of thought. He's like, okay, what's going on with me, right? This can also be a lot of psychology. Like the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is about divine discontent. It's about being in a really uncomfortable situation, but trying to see the higher reasoning or the higher purpose of what's going on. But there's a great card in another one of the decks that I use that talks about divine discontent. And what it says is, it says that there are moments in life where you just feel like, you kind of feel like you're spinning your wheels, right? Like maybe you're doing a lot of, the other thing I see here is maybe you're doing a lot of creative work. Like you're doing a lot of creative work. The other thing I get is maybe you're trying to keep yourself busy, like socially, you're trying to keep yourself busy, but you still feel really hollow inside, and you're not sure why. You're not sure why. And it's almost like you're analyzing it. Now, one other thing I really get from this is, because these are cups, there's some kind of emotional feeling that's kind of churning. There's some kind of an emotional discontent, and you can't find, you're struggling, you're using all of your mental resources to try to figure out the source of it. The source of it, right? It's almost like you're uncomfortable. Your emotions are making you uncomfortable, and you can't figure them out. You can't figure them out. Knight of Wands. Yeah. You're restless, guys. Over the weekend and into the beginning of the week, you're feeling restless. And the crazy thing is that you do have, you have new emotional opportunities. Like you might have either a new relationship or some kind of new emotional endeavor that's being offered to you, but you're almost kind of like, I'm not even happy with what I got. Why should I take this new cup? Is kind of the feeling. So I do think that you're going through some kind of spiritual change, guys. I do think you're. The other thing I get with this is that I really get a strong sense that you're trying to solve, like you're trying to figure out your emotional problems with your head. And I'll be honest, guys, you're not trying to feel anything. Like you don't want to let, I think you're afraid of that. If you let yourself feel anything, if you try to like meditate on how you're feeling, you're afraid of it becoming like, almost like the crack in the dam. You're afraid of the dam breaking and it washing you away. So you're keeping your guard up over the weekend and in the beginning of the week. But there is a little bit of divine discontent. The other thing that I kind of get when I see this combination, and believe me, I've been there. I have a chart that is all Libra, which is mental, mind, and Cancer, which is cardinal water. And cardinal signs like to start things and never finish anything. we like to begin things. We don't like to finish. That's a fixed sign. A fixed sign, if you're Scorpio or Aquarius, then you get shit done. But you finish stuff. But and there might even be some gridlock with that if you are a fixed sign or if you have it in your chart. What I'm really kind of seeing here, guys, is that I'm getting the sense like you're going out and doing things. Maybe you're being social, but there's something churning underneath the surface, and I don't think you're 100% happy, but you're not meditating on it, or you're not delving into your feelings to try to figure out what the problem is. You're trying to solve it with either psychology or by thinking about it. Like you don't want the dam to break, right? The other thing that I kind of get is that I get the feeling like you have some kind of like, you feel a little flinchy because you've had emotional experiences in the past. Maybe you've been vulnerable in the past and it never worked out. Like, okay, the moment I show my feelings, I'm screwed, is kind of the feeling. So you're not going to let yourself give into your feelings. You're going to think about it. But the beautiful thing is about the King of Swords and the Hanged Man, this is very mature energy. You're a very experienced thinker. You're analyzing where you're at and how you got there. But This is kind of divine discontent, guys. The other thing I get is that you might be doing kind of creative projects, or you might be starting some creative projects over the weekend in order to distract yourself, or to try to, I keep hearing exercise your demons. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I know that sounds really deep, but you've got a lot of majors. You've got some deep churning energy going on under the surface, and it's kind of starting over the weekend. But the other thing I kind of get is that you're really not trying to start anything new. The Hanged Man is about non-action. You know, it's like, okay, I've got enough. What I'm really feeling is I've got enough on my plate. I've got enough fires. I've got enough irons in the fire, right? I do not need anything new. You might even be offered something new and you're almost not, kind of like not interested. You know, the only reason being is because you just feel like you kind of have to, before you take on any more, you want to figure out what's going on with you now, because you're not, I am getting a feeling like you're not 100% happy, and not in a bad way either. This could be, again, if you're watching this at the time the video posts, this could just be some end of the summer blues. Sometimes, just like you get the Sunday night blues, you might be kind of feeling like, okay, the summer's over. What did I do? What did I accomplish? Not much. And, you know, I do kind of get the feeling like it's almost like you want to finish the projects you already started, but I do just kind of sense a lot of, I kind of see you doing kind of, what I'm almost seeing is I see you almost kind of putting around the house, doing the things that you like to do, like all of the emotional activities that you know are quote unquote safe. Like for instance, I am seeing a lot of gardening. Like here I see flowers in pots, and later we get to the Nine of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, which is a real gardening card. Maybe you're working in your garden, or your yard. You know, maybe you're pulling weeds, or the other thing I get with it being cups, maybe you're just focusing on the emotional things that you like to do. You know, like for me, I like to scrapbook. That's always a go-to. You know, if I'm feeling kind of blue, kind of meh, I'm like, okay, let me knock out 5 scrapbook pages. I'll feel better, right? And it's almost kind of like that. Whatever it is you like to do, if you like watching TikTok videos, if you like gaming, I do get the sense that this is more of a physical activity. I don't think you're just sitting and like binge watching any streaming or anything. But you know, it's something that makes your heart happy. But it's almost like you're sticking to what you know instead of trying anything new. And it's like you're trying to figure out how you're feeling, because you are feeling kind of meh. Now, middle of the week, you got another 4. The root of the energy is you got the 4 of Swords and you got the 5 of Coins. And above it, you have the 7 of Swords and the Chariot. You know what I really get, guys? I feel like this beginning energy kind of escalates a little bit. Have you ever had have you ever had those weeks where you're like, okay, I'm feeling a little out of sorts. Let me do all the activities that I like to do. Let me do my crafts. Let me do my, gaming, whatever it is you'd like to do. And then after a while, it just kind of like fizzles out. Okay, I'm up to date on the scrapbook. I'm up to date on, I've played every single phone game there is. And then then you just kind of feel like, I'm getting a strong sense of escapism by the middle of the week. And I know that sounds crazy, because we've got the Chariot, which is another major, and you got the 7 of Swords. And what I'm really getting is I'm getting the type of escapism, like if you've ever wanted to get away. And to be honest, guys, there's so much mental energy here. I think that you might have like a side of you that you don't show a whole lot of people. Like the things that you enjoy doing, you see how there's one person in just about all of these cards. I think you have a real private side to yourself that you don't really show a lot of people. And I feel like by the middle of the week, it's almost like you want to get away. I am getting the feeling like you might not have a whole lot of money. Like it might be the few days before you get paid. But this the 4 of Swords is about R&R. The Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is a little bit of a sneaky peek card. But if you watch, I did do an entire video that in the How to Tarot series. So if you ever want more information about that energy, please check out that video. But I get the sense like I'm getting like R&R, like you need to get away. Like the Chariot, like you know what I'm almost getting? I'm almost getting like I'm getting the sense like you start off the weekend doing things that you like to do, and by the middle of the week you're feeling really hollow. And I'm so sorry, guys. I think by the middle of the week you're feeling really kind of down and out. I think you're realizing that you need to check out a little bit. Like the Four of Swords is about checking out. It's like saying, okay, stop. You know, there's a lot of swords energy here, and I feel like just in the middle, like in your head, you're just feeling really kind of left out in the cold. Either that, or this could be financial, where you're just, you know, you might be a little bit strapped for cash by the middle of the week. You might have to be a little bit more frugal in what it is that you're doing. But you know what it is? You know what I'm almost getting is it's like if you can put your last $3 into gas just to go for a drive or just to get away, that's what I'm kind of getting. I'm getting this feeling like you need to get away. If you can get away and do something, honestly, it doesn't have to cost a whole lot of money. If you put your last $3 into gas into your car to go drive to a lake in order to look at ducks, or whatever it is you like to do, right? But I do get the sense like someone, I really get the feeling like it's you. In the middle of the week, you're getting away. Like you need to check out, right? And you might be feeling a little financially strapped, or you might be feeling just a little left out in the cold. I mean, this could be socially, where you just feel like a little isolated, like I don't think anybody, please clarify, I don't know if anybody's intentionally doing something, because sometimes the Five of Pentacles can be like a click card, you know, like if someone's trying to make you feel like an outcast. Ten of Wands, yeah. Yeah, you're just, I'm getting a lot of exhaustion, guys, like a lot of exhaustion. Like the universe is just telling you to check out, you know? Check out. One other way, just to throw it out there, is that if you've been helping people and the people that you've been helping are just, you know, like again, maybe you have a sibling or a parent or a spouse who's really just kind of, if you have someone in your vicinity that's been kind of draining your energy, and particularly your money, you know, like if someone keeps coming to you and saying, well, I need more money, can you help me out, can you help me out, you might feel like sneaking away from this person because you're just tired. You're tired. You've been helping them, and you need a break. You need a break. And I get like a kind of a sneaking away, but in a healthy way. And again, I just feel like with all this mental energy, you haven't been 100% like content with life. And I feel like you almost have to kind of get away. And I am seeing like the car, guys. I'm seeing someone like spending, like literally dropping, you know, paying the cashier at the gas station in cash with the last $5 you got, and, you know, seeing how far you go. You know, seeing how far you go, because a minute ago, what was it? It was the Knight of Wands. And that's kind of impulsive. It's just kind of like, you know, two tears in a bucket. Fuck it. Pardon me, you know, pardon my French, but it is kind of just like, let me see where I go. Let me see and I do get almost like the sense of freedom. Knight of Coins, yeah. I feel like, you know, things have been going really slow, and it's almost like your mind needs a break. You almost need to feel a little bit of movement. I think what's happening is you're feeling burdened by a lack of movement, a stagnancy. You got to move. You got to do something. And I feel like in the middle of the week, it's like jumping in your car. You know, it's like jumping in your car. And the other thing is that it's psychologically proven that if you do something different, doing something different burns new synapses in your brain. Like, if you've been driving the same route to work every single day for 365 days, 7 days a week, if you take a different route home, if you just take a detour, that gives you a new experience, and that releases positive endorphins in your brain. Going for a drive, going somewhere new. Like me, I love coffee. Finding a new coffee place, a place I have never been before, trying new coffee, even if it's crappy coffee, I don't care. If I get a chance to go somewhere new, see someplace new, that's a new experience, and that's positive endorphins in my gray matter, right? And that's important. And I feel like in the middle of the week, that's going to be very important. Now, just one other way that I can read it, and just to throw it out there, just for a very few of you, and if it doesn't resonate, don't take it. And please do not be afraid. As we go in, this is just energy. So if it resonates, take it. If it doesn't, it might be a message for someone else. One other way I can kind of read it is that you might feel like someone's kind of taking your money, and maybe you feel like, I really get the sense like you feel like if it's not you hopping in the car, then it's someone else hopping in the car, and you feel like it's a little deceptive. Like, you know, maybe your spouse, maybe your mom, maybe your brother, whoever it is, someone close to you kind of takes your last $20 and then, you know, maybe hops in the car just to go somewhere. And it feels like a little bit of a burden to you. It feels like it's a lot to handle. But the other thing that I get is that if it is someone else, if this is happening to you, if this is the actions of someone else around you, it's almost a relief to you, because when they're gone, when they leave, even though they're doing something kind of, you know, frivolous, they're spending the last of the money from gas, you're left at home and it's kind of peaceful. Not to sound funny, but it's like peaceful when they're not there, even though they're taking your last dollar, right? Now, by the end of the week, I'm seeing great energy, guys, so please do not despair. This looks great. By the end of the week, first off, we got the Queen of Swords, which is emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries. The other thing that I get is that maybe if you're a male watching this, this could be you connecting with your counterpart, because we do have the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. But by the end of the week, if this is your emotional energy, you're gonna get a little tough love with all this BS that's been going on, right? And whether that's with yourself or with another person, again, if it's another person who's kind of spending your money, you're gonna draw boundaries, and you're gonna be very verbal about it. You're gonna be no BS. You're gonna be like, look, next time you want to go somewhere, you need to tell me, and you need to ask if whether or not it's okay that you take our last $20. You're going to be really like no BS. Now, if this is your emotional energy, I just feel like you feel a lot more clear. You feel a lot more clear. Like some of this, because queens are the emotional manifestation of energy, and you had a lot of masculine energy with cups, which sometimes, and you know, I'm sorry, I don't want this to sound like stereotypical or like typecast, but it is kind of true that masculine energy is more ego and sense of self. Sometimes masculines will downplay their emotions, especially when you're coming out as the King of Swords, because you're more in your head. You don't want to acknowledge the squishy feely side. But if you're in Queen of Swords, you're acknowledging your emotions, but you're defending them, right? You're acknowledging that you feel something, that you're acknowledging what you've been through, but in a mental way, you're protecting those feelings. So I hope that makes sense. But by the end of the week, you are drawing boundaries. You've got the freaking Ace of Coins and the Two of Wands. You're making some very clear, concise choices. It's almost like it's like by the end of the week, you know that the direction that you want to go. And you know how, the other thing I get is, I absolutely love this, following the Five of Pentacles to get the Ace of Pentacles. That's like, first off, I think payday has finally come. That's the other thing, if you were waiting for payday, because you do also have the 9 of coins, so you're feeling like, you know, cha-ching, you know, so you might have been waiting for payday. By the middle of the week, you know, you might have had to go the last couple days before that paycheck hits the bank account. But the other thing that I'm kind of seeing here is that if this is solely your energy, you've really come a long way, baby, in 1 week. Like, you were feeling a little out of sorts. Maybe you did go for a drive. Maybe you went for a drive. You went somewhere. And by the end of the week, it's almost like all of that adventure, all of that traveling, all of that introspection has got you clear about the direction that you want to go. And the Two of Wands talks about, you see how he's leaning towards a new direction? It's almost like, okay, the previous one, I started this, but I want to go in a new direction. The Two of Wands is about having a choice. The other thing about this deck is you see how there's 2 envelopes here. If this is relationship related at all, like if you have been having trouble with someone, you might decide to go in a new direction towards a different person. And you might kind of lay down the law and say, this is what I'm doing. Now, the other thing is, if you're a singleton and you're just, you know, you've really kind of been through a lot of emotion this week. I think you've had a case of the blahs. By the end of the week, you're feeling a lot more prosperous. The other thing I get is that if you're the activity that really kind of brings you joy is gardening or doing something outside in the ground, because look at this, even your oracle card has like a plant in it. I think that's really amazing. I think by the end of the week, it's almost like you have a plan. You have a plan. First off, you're not feeling as financially strapped as the middle of the week. So I really do think this is payday, y'all. I think this is payday. The other thing is that these experiences, whatever you kind of went through, the drive that you went on, the place that you went, the thoughts that you had about how you were feeling, and I do think that you checked out, which is excellent. I think you checked out. I think you needed some R&R. By the end of the week, you have a path. It's almost like you're getting clear about what choices, like what paths are open to you, and you have a choice. You haven't made the decision yet, but you see how the Ace of Pentacles in traditional Rider-Waite-Smith is a hand holding the pentacle, and you see how this person's holding the globe and it looks the same. I think by the end of the week, you know what direction you want to go. The other thing is, in this deck, which I think is really beautiful, is the 9 of Pentacles is holding what looks like a black bird, like a raven or crow, which is a harbinger of change. So yeah, definitely by the end of the week, you're going to feel a lot. The other thing is, I think that you're going to feel a lot more financially abundant. Maybe as this is going to be just for a few of you. I really get the sense that maybe in the middle of the week you're feeling, even if you're not financially poor, you're going to be feeling like spiritually poor, just either that or physically kind of under the weather. And I think by jumping in the car and going somewhere, or just traveling a little bit, I think it just kind of gives you a new perspective. And by the end of the week, it's almost like you come home with a new, like an open mind of what's possible. Like, I think instead of feeling narrow-minded, I get is with the 7 of Swords, it's the 7 of Swords can really be about denying your internal self, right? And then by the end of the week, it's almost like you're drawing a line in the sand saying, okay, I'm not going to deny what I want to do anymore moving forward. I'm going to do what I want to do, right? And I do think that you have renewed hope for that. The other thing I kind of get is that there's some kind of prospect. And again, something about the middle of the week, you know, it's amazing. Like, if you've ever watched the TV series Mysteries at the Museum, a lot of those stories talk about how, like the inventor of Xerox, he was a stenographer. He was someone who did copies. Like, before there was Xerox, people would hand write copies, and he was, and one of the persons who one of the clerks who used to do copies of documents started getting carpal tunnel, because you can imagine, you turn the century, people had a lot of ailments, right? And that can be the Five of Pentacles. Maybe you're starting to feel an ailment with something. And the inventor of Xerox, he was risking losing his job because his hand was so tired, like his hand was wearing out from doing copies for people. He invented the technology for Xerox machines. That's what I'm almost kind of getting, and I know that sounds kind of out there, but sometimes you have to hit kind of rock bottom, or you have to really kind of be in a low place in order for you to think big. And by the end of the week, it's like you're almost feeling better. You're not feeling rock bottom anymore. And I do think that you go for a drive or something, guys. I'm really getting the sense like you go somewhere to get this revelation. Now, your oracle card, you got brown, and it says establish boundaries. And it's a plant, guys. It's a plant. So yeah, I mean, one other way I can kind of read this is if you are like working this week, maybe you feel like someone's just kind of pushing you too far. By the end of the week, you could just kind of get a backbone, and you're just kind of like, no, like don't do this to me. I know what the other thing I get is that the Nine of Pentacles really knows her worth. But with the Ace of Coins, I really do think that you're thinking in a new direction. And I kind of feel like it's some kind of pendulum swing, guys. And I think either someone does something kind of shady to you in the middle of the week, and you kind of get away, like you check out a little bit, and by the end of the week you're feeling much stronger, much better, like you're getting new ideas. Either that, or you're feeling kind of physically kind of bad, and I am getting a sense like you go for a drive. I sense like you go for a drive. If you've ever seen the movie Cars, I love that scene when Sally goes, you know, you city boys are all the same. Haven't you ever just gone for a drive? And I have done that too. And I get wickedly pissed off when people try to tailgate me when I'm out in the country on a Sunday on a drive, because you know what? Get off my bumper. There's spiritual enlightenment that comes from just getting out and going for a drive. And I get the sense you might see something on that drive, guys. The other thing is, if your outlet is planting something, honestly, guys, you might find something in the organic world that would give you a really big idea as well. So wow, guys, that's a powerful week. That's a powerful week, guys. You had several majors, so. All right, so deck number 2, we've got the Sun and Moon Tarot. So let's go ahead and see. Deck number 2, what's your energy? Princess of Swords. Ooh, okay. End of the week. Please clarify justice. Okay, I'm trying to take these cards. I'm trying to take them in the reverse, I think. Hold on. I am getting a story there, guys. Wow. King of Pentacles. 9 of Swords, 4 of Cups. Okay. Whoa. You see how these cards are just flipping out? I'm getting a story. Okay, King of Pentacles, 4 of Cups in reverse. Okay, let's go ahead and get your Oracle card. Attract a relationship. I am getting like a love vibe this week, guys. No, okay. Princess of Swords. In the beginning of the week, there's going to be a lot of like text communication. 8 of Swords. I feel like restricted text communication. Not to sound funny, but you see how these two characters kind of look the same, but you see kind of marionette strings on one. not to sound funny, but over the weekend, guys, you might have someone who's dictating your communication. I know that sounds a little crazy. It's just those marionette strings. Like, maybe you're sending out. Have you ever had it where, like, and just to put it out there, you know, if you're married and your spouse is like, hey, you know, text your mother, tell her we need to bring da 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 to the barbecue, or if you have your mom going, hey, call your uncle and tell him that blah 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 blah, you know. But here, I'm seeing a lot of like orchestrated communication. It's almost like you're texting someone, but someone is kind of monitoring that, or you feel restricted. I'm getting a sense like over the weekend, the beginning of the week, you feel restricted in what you're allowed to say to someone. Like either that it's being monitored, or the other way I kind of read it is if you think that you're overthinking what you're texting to someone. That's what I'm kind of getting there. You're overthinking what you're texting to someone. And I know that sounds funny, but sometimes we do that. Like if you're texting someone that you really like, that's the other thing, is that when you're texting someone that you really like, sometimes you get nervous. Like you're like, oh, okay, did I say the wrong thing? They didn't text back right away. Or oh my god, when you reread the last text, you're like, oh my god, I sounded like a complete idiot. Why did I say it that way? That came out wrong. You know how when it's text messages, it can be very misconstrued. I actually had just like a DM conversation with someone today, and I'm always going a mile a minute. I have to admit, I'm very air. And the person that was chatting me said, I'm sorry that you had an irritating day. And what they were doing is they were emoting with me, but I read the chat so quickly. Again, I was just scanning, and I swear, it hurts me because then I go back and I do read it thoroughly later. But I feel like I'll be honest, I feel like an asshole because I'm not giving someone my undivided attention. But unfortunately, honestly, there's no such thing as multitasking. You're cutting. You're never giving. If you're putting your attention to two things at once, you're never giving someone your undivided attention, and that is disrespect. And I feel like an asshole for that. But I kind of skimmed the DM, and then later when I read it, I was like, oh, okay, this person was telling me, I'm sorry that you had an irritating day. And I replied back with, oh, I hope your day gets better. And what it was is I thought they were telling me that they had an irritated day. But really what they were doing was emoting with my day. So again, miscommunication. But what I'm kind of seeing here is that kind of Princess of Swords is the Page of Swords. It's kind of like that kind of flitty thing. Like you see this person with the butterfly kind of flitting around. It's kind of like that energy. Except with the Eight of Swords, you see interference, right? Now, with interference, that can really be you over-scrutinizing what you're saying, just like I did. Like, oh, God, I said the wrong thing, or I read that the wrong way. This person must think that I'm not giving them my undivided attention. But I am getting this is a message that's coming through. I do kind of feel like, yeah, Three of Swords, interference. I know this sounds crazy, guys, but if you're younger, you know how sometimes you might have your mom being like, you might be chatting your best friend, and you know how you might want to really tell your friend through the chat what's going on, but your mom's over your shoulder going, you need to get off your phone right now. That's the kind of energy I'm getting here, guys, over the weekend to the beginning of the week. I don't know if you have someone kind of on your back, kind of monkey on your back, like kind of being like, no, tell him this, tell him that. But I feel like your text communication is a little stifled because someone is either telling you what to write, or you're overthinking what you're texting, and you feel like it's coming across the wrong way, or it's coming across misconstrued. But with interference and Three of Swords, that really speaks of third party interference, like someone is really looking over your shoulder. I'm not gonna lie, guys, that's some craptastic energy, just because if this is a spouse, I'm I'm just gonna come out and say it, and no offense, please don't unsubscribe, because I'm gonna be blunt here for a minute. But if you have a spouse or someone who's looking at your phone or reserves the right to kind of watch your activity on your phone, that's a little controlling. I don't think that would be warranted. I mean, even in situations, even in love relationships where someone has been unfaithful, you know, that's a little bit of a danger sign if someone's really kind of trying to like look at your phone and being like, what did you say to them? What did you text? Is this the right, you know, did you say the right? Or, you know, I'm kind of getting that, like the marionette strings. Now, by the middle of the week, we got the Seven of Cups and we got the Moon. I'm feeling like, now first off, the Seven of Cups is debauch, which is debauchery. And then the Moon, the Seven of Cups and the Moon, and actually you kind of see the same moon phase there. One's waxing, one's waning. Now, these two cards have illusion in common, right? Like, what you think them is not what you think them is. The other thing is they have a lot of confusion, like disorientation, like you're just not seeing things clearly, right? Now, one way I can read this, guys, is that in the beginning of the week, I'm just going to come out and say it. If you're a woman who's been worried about, like if you're in a relationship with a man, marriage or committed or just dating, and if you feel like over the weekend and the beginning of the week, you have to kind of look over his shoulder or monitor what he's typing in a phone, I feel like by the middle of the week, it's almost like you're imagining, like you see how this woman's sitting on the moon and she looks so sad and fearful and scared. And then I think you almost have it like in your head, like maybe if your boyfriend's going on a trip or something, by the middle of the week, you think he's off somewhere, like, you know, I'm sorry, there was a great reader, and I'm sorry to laugh at this, but it was great comic relief, because sometimes when you're really scared about something, to get someone to get, you know, to belly laugh at it, to kind of poke fun at it is a great relief kind of tactic. But I remember one time I was watching a video and it was like, your ex could be banging Victoria's Secret models and farting glitter, and it doesn't matter. You know? So anytime I start worrying, like, oh my God, is he out there, like, you know, is he out there banging Victoria's Secret models and farting glitter? You know, these are fears, guys. And I've even said feelings or fears are not facts. It can feel like, again, in the light of the moon, and we talked about it in the How to Tarot, and in the How to Tarot and the Moon. If you've ever seen that old Disney movie, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, you know how when she's running away from the castle and she first runs into the woods and she's seeing eyes everywhere and she thinks she's in danger? That's kind of the moon's energy. Now, I am going to get one clarifier, just because I think that's what's going on here. So we're just going to clarify it because, God, we need some clarification. Queen of Wands, Three of Pentacles. Okay. Aw, Tower. The Lovers, Five of Cups. Yeah, oh gosh, guys. I'm so sorry, and I do not mean to make light of it, because this is heavy energy and this is a major arcana. But yeah, I think you're afraid. I think you're afraid that in the middle of the week you are going to have some emotional churning, because you think that someone's talking to someone. And to be honest, I'll come out and say it, with the Three of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, I feel like you might feel like, if you're a woman watching this, you might feel like your boyfriend or your husband might be talking to someone at work who is a very dynamic personality, like a real fiery personality. The other thing is that this woman or this person likes to dress really well, like she's very confident. She might be very trendy. She might be like on fashion point, like she just looks really good. But The other thing I get is that you might feel like this person is talking to them. Like the reason that they're chatting is because they're like, oh honey, I'm talking to this person for work, don't worry about it. But in your head you have all these stories and it's really upsetting you. Now, one other way I can kind of read it is that, one other way I can read it is if this is not relationship related at all, by the middle of the week, I think you are kind of like just kind of in a confused state. I think you are normally a very confident person. The other thing as I think that you're a very concise person when you communicate. Like you're very clear on your communication. And this could very well be a work thing where in the beginning of the week, maybe in the beginning of the week or over the weekend, you just feel like you're not articulating very well. And that happens if to put the astrologer hat on, if you know your natal astrology hat, if you have a bad transit to either Mercury or something that's kind of coming through and hitting your Mercury, sometimes things just don't come across right. Like you're not able to communicate very concisely, or it might sound kind of childish, or you might be overthinking. Like you might be trying to comb through what you want to say and it just still isn't coming out right, and it's just making you feel like all tongue-tied. And then by the middle of the week, you do just kind of feel like, what I'm getting here is I'm getting the feeling like you're a very dynamic person, you're a good leader, and you're a good communicator. But by the middle of the week, you just kind of feel like a little confused, like just a little disoriented. Like, just the other thing is I get really fearful. I get a lot of fear here, guys. Like, what am I gonna do? Kind of like, what am I gonna do? Now, just one other way to throw it out there, just kind of in a more general sense, if you're watching this video at the time it posts, there's a lot of world events that are going on, and I'll go ahead and say it. I'm an English major. I've studied press releases. I've studied the media and the way that the media has an impact on the way that you think. And let me just tell you, there's a saying in media. It says, if it bleeds, it leads. And that means that the more shocking the byline, like when you scroll through the articles online, first off, a lot of media outlets are not getting a whole lot of readers, right? We would much rather, and guilty hand here, we'd much rather watch a how-to video on YouTube or on TikTok than to actually take the time to read through a news article. And it's actually tested. I think the attention span of someone is about 3 minutes, if that. So a lot of times, a lot of media outlets have to get a really shocking kind of byline in order to get your attention, in order to get you to read their article. So, and we've got a lot of world events going on and there's a very big polarization in the world where in the middle of the week, you might be feeling kind of scared, or you might be kind of fearful that stuff in your world is out of your control, or just in the middle of the week, you might feel like, okay, where do I go next? And the thing is, you're a very strong person. You're a very strong person. The other thing is you're a very good communicator. I get the feeling like you're normally right on it, but in the middle of the week, you might just feel a little bit lost. You might feel a little bit lost, and that's okay. So beginning of the week, it's like you're tongue-tied. Middle of the week, you're just like, oh God, what do I do next, right? The other thing is that I feel like you're getting a bunch of like worst case scenarios. Like you're running over all the scary stuff in your head, and that's what's making you quiet, right? Normally you're a dynamic person that takes concise action, but by the middle of the week, you're afraid. And all of the things that you're afraid of, Now, just one other way I can kind of read it is that if you have been feeling kind of depressed lately, or fearful or afraid, this can be, with the moon, it can be an indicator of a little bit of escapism, and it can be anything. And I'm not saying anybody has an addiction. That's not like that. But it can really be anything. Like maybe you take your cold medicine and it makes you feel a little loopy. Or maybe you take some pain reliever medicine that is got a sleep aid and it knocks you out. Right? Or allergy medicine like Benadryl. Benadryl knocks me out. Like I will sleep like a rock. Right? So in the middle of the week, you might be feeling a little bit loopy from something. But I'll be honest, guys, I am kind of getting the feeling like maybe you're worried, like you're spinning all these ideas in your head that that someone is talking to someone. You know, either that or you just kind of feel like Seven of Wands. Yeah, you're like fighting off. You're fighting off all these negative thoughts. There are two sevens here, Seven of Cups and Seven of Wands. You know? Now, one other way I can kind of read this is that maybe you have a lot going on at work or at home, and you just feel like you're kind of fighting the good fight, but at night you just feel kind of lost. Like you just like, what do I do next? Normally I know exactly what to do, but right now I just don't know what to do. You know, and it's a lot of fear, guys. It's a lot of just feeling like lost. I feel kind of lost here, right? Like, what do I choose? What do I choose? Now, by the end of the week, you know, what's the right path forward, right? And your Oracle card does talk about relationships a little bit, though, too. So the other thing is you might have some choices in relationship, but you know, the other thing is the Queen of Wands really attracts people. Like, she's the it girl. Like, you know, she would have her choice of suitors, right? But inside you might, you know, it's funny, on the outside you might kind of feel like, on the outside everyone's looking at you like you're dynamic and you've got the world at your fingertips, but on the inside you just feel a little bit like emotionally churned up. And I will look at I'll look at the chart. This crescent moon is really speaking to me. Maybe the moon is in that phase by the middle of the week, possibly. It's going to be kind of a Capricorn moon, so that might kind of make sense. But by the end of the week, you got Justice, and underneath it we got the Eight of Pentacles and the Star in reverse, and then you've got the King of Swords. King of Swords, you got two, Justice and the King of Swords. Now, by the end of the week, I'm honestly getting the feeling like you're going to force yourself to get mentally balanced. It's almost like you're getting into a masculine frame of mind. You're going to get into a real kind of tough love frame of mind, and you're going to balance yourself out. You're going to balance yourself out. It's like, okay, screw this fear, right? Screw this fear. Let me get back to myself, right? Let me get back. I'm not this crying, weepy person. I'm this dynamic woman. Let me balance out these emotions. Now, the other thing is that we're coming up on the cusp of, and actually we're almost into Leo. The 23rd, or I'm sorry, we're almost into Virgo. We're wrapping up. This week is probably one of the last weeks of Leo season. So if you have placements in the late degrees of Leo, you're really kind of transitioning through. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. And I'm going to get a sip of water. Excuse me. Okay, thank you. But I think by the end of the week you're getting real balanced. And both the King of Swords. The other thing I love about this card is that you look in the sky, and in the last deck we had the same thing. We had like a black bird. Ravens or crows are a harbinger of change. And you see how this king is like hopping on his white horse and he's following the birds. It's almost like, okay, I think by the end of the week you're not afraid of change. Honestly, guys, I think I'm getting a feeling like you're almost getting kind of pissed off with feeling lost. You're getting kind of mad. You're like, okay, I don't need to feel like dazed and confused about where my future lies. But what I am kind of seeing here is that with the Star in reverse and the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like you by the end of the week you feel like you have a long way to go, right? The other thing I kind of feel like is that you're keeping balanced. So you're staying out of the moon energy, like you're not allowing yourself to stay like sad or confused. But the Eight of Pentacles in reverse is really about like you've been working hard and not getting anywhere. And the Star in reverse is about like trying to keep the faith, but feeling like that hope is fading, right? So what I'm getting is by the end of the week, I think you're really gonna you're gonna pull yourself up by your mental bootstraps. Like you're gonna keep yourself balanced. The other thing I get is then these scales, you have your heart and a feather. So, and that heart is flaming too. So I do think that you're gonna stay true to your convictions. If you've felt lost about something, or if you feel lost about the course of action that you want to take, you're going to judge it in the fair light. Like you're going to make the decisions that you want to make, and no one's going to question you. You're going to be like, look. The other thing I kind of get is like you're not going to let anyone judge your choices. That's the other thing. If you choose to do something, you're like, I choose to do this, and come at me, bro. This is my choice. The other thing I get is that I feel like with this King of Swords, you're very bravely charging into the future. You're deciding what you want to do, and can I just tell you, pile 2, I'm gonna curse a little bit. You're no bullshit. When you decide to do something, you weigh up everything. And inside you might feel like all hope is lost. The other thing I get is with the Eight of Pentacles, if this is relationship related, you might be judging someone in the cold light of logic. And you might feel like you've put a lot of work into this relationship, and you might feel like there's no hope of getting that relationship back, but at least you have your self-respect. Right? Like Justice and the King of Swords. The King of Swords respects relationships. Like he does what's right. Even if that supersedes like emotions, even if he has to kind of put his heart on the shelf a little bit, if it's what's fair to himself and others, even if he put work into that, he'll let go of the hope of it if it's doing the right thing, if it's doing the fair thing. And I hope this makes sense. But I feel like this is your energy by the end of the week. If you are a man watching this, you could very well kind of like be letting go of the hope of something in order to do what's right. But this is gorgeous energy, guys. I don't know if it's because I'm Libra and I recognize this energy. It's funny, so many times in my life, I've had to kind of take on this energy, like the King of Swords, like, again, like you have to do what's right even when it's not popular. You have to do what's right even though you might take a little bit of a loss. Maybe you invested a lot of time into something. Maybe you had all your hopes pinned on something for like a happily ever after or something. But sometimes you have to put those emotions to the side to say, look, the right choice for this situation is to let go. The right choice of the situation is to not live in fear or these illusions that make me miserable. I will let go of this relationship. I will look forward to change. I will embrace new things and let go of everything, that all of that hope and all of that investment, in order to be balanced, in order to feel like I'm doing the right thing. And this could be work related, it can be world events related. If you feel like you feel like you're making the right choice for yourself or others, and you're charging forth with that. And something about these blackbirds, I really feel like you're following the change. And that's a scary thing, guys. That's a scary thing. Honestly, if you watch the How to Tarot for the King of Swords, we talk about Zorro, how he really made a lot of sacrifices in order to be the hero, right? Now, the card that you got Rose, and it says attract a relationship, and you even got the number 6, which is the number of the lovers. And what I'm really drawn to is that in the 8 of Pentacles, you see that bright red is really like a similar... Sorry, the sun is going down in the background. I started this reading early and it's starting to get dark. Let me go ahead and turn on the lamp. But the rose really talks about attract a relationship. Honestly, one other way I can read this, guys, is that if you kind of makes you question yourself, that makes you, again, if you if you feel like if it puts you in a spiral, like, maybe you've been dealing with someone, because the other thing is that the King of Swords is relationship related. Maybe you've been texting someone and they've just been kind of wishy-washy with you, and then by the middle of the week it's radio silence and you think they're banging models and farting glitter. You're kind of over it by the end of the week. And I do feel like the sense like you're prioritizing your own mental and psychological health, and you're charging forward, and I think that balance, that kind of honesty with yourself, that's the other thing, is being real honest about the situation. Okay, if someone's leaving me to question what they're doing, if someone's not bothering to text me back, if someone's, if I'm putting all this care into texting someone and they don't even bother to really communicate with you, move on, let go of the hope of that and move forward. And that confidence, that honesty will make you very attractive. And honestly, I think you're the Queen of Wands anyway. I really do think you're the Queen of Wands. Now, if you're a woman watching this and you feel like someone is ignoring you and paying attention to a Queen of Wands, honey, by the end of this week, you might be kind of judging this person. Like, you might hear some radio silence from someone and you might be real afraid, thinking that they're to someone else, and then by the end of the week they come around and you're just kind of like, okay, is this fair to me? Is this fair, And you are completely justified in doing what is right for you. But I do think by the end of the week, you might feel like you're letting go of some investment that you've already had, but it's going to feel kind of exciting. It's going to feel liberating. It will feel liberating. The other thing is it's going to feel really balanced. And don't be afraid to kind of throw any type of relationship or any type of feelings under the light of justice. Like, justice is it's not an emotional card, but it's a very good card for because what it does is it makes you feel like you've done the right thing, and it makes you feel like justice has been served, right? And I assure you that it's going to make you real attractive when you balance yourself and you honor yourself and you make sure that the energy, the give and take is equal. That makes you very attractive. And if anybody is kind of like, farting glitter, they'll recognize real quick, that, you deserve a lot better than that, right? All right, guys, so deck number 3, we've got the Linestrider Tarot by Siolo Thompson. So let's go ahead and see. Deck number 3, what's your energy for the week? Ooh, that's flipped. Ooh, 6 of Cups. We got another card. Wow, okay. Middle of the week. saw the Eight of Cups first. Let me just make sure. Eight of Cups. Hey, you've got 2 eights. Oh my gosh. Knight of Wands and the Star. The Fool in reverse. All right. All right. I'm getting kind of a story here, guys. Okay. End of the week. Rainbow. Connect to spirit and nature. Okay. That's kind of beautiful. All right, guys. So deck number 3. The beginning of the week, I'm just going to get a sip of water. Sorry, guys. Thank you. A little bit parched. All right. Beginning of the week, this is going to be quite beautiful. Beginning of the week, you got the 6 of Cups, and underneath of it, you got the King of Wands. So this is really quite clear. If you are a woman, and assign the genders as they resonate, because it's just energy. So you can assign however the gender, however the masculine, feminine, however it resonates. Assign the roles as you see them resonating. I'm really getting like 6 of Cups is really about like a reconciliation card. It's about like good memories and childhood friends. And you see how one person, I always kind of look at the lemur on the right as the masculine, and then the one on the left as being the feminine. And you see how surprised she looks, and she's got like a bouquet of flowers. It's almost like he ran up and gave her a bouquet of flowers. And then you've got the King of Wands, who is the king of action. So honestly, guys, if you're a feminine watching this, you might have a masculine who shows up kind of as a surprise. Who hands you flowers or does something really sweet and kind of sentimental. You might, if you're married or in a committed relationship, your lovey might be doing something that's very sentimental. It might be reminiscent of, like maybe when you first met, when you were teenagers, they bought you sunflowers, and actually this weekend there's a great sunflower festival. There's a lot of, if you're watching this at the time the reading posts, so maybe they do something kind of sweet like that, like they bring you a gift or bring you flowers. The King of Wands always, I always say he's the mature masculine of his suit, and when he decides to do something, he really goes for it. So what this is this could be a surprise visit. You might have someone from your past kind of popping up unexpectedly, and this person's on a mission, right? He knows what he wants, right? I always call this the Aslan card. It kind of reminds me of Aslan the lion from the Chronicles of Narnia. But you really, over the weekend and the beginning of the week, you have someone really kind of making an overture. I really do think that you might get flowers or some kind of gift that reminds you of, has a good memory associated to it. And this person, and again, the King of Wands, of course, because he's the King of Wands, it might be a little bit more sexual, like it might be flirty and really kind of intimate. One other way I can kind of read this is that it's possible that if you are married to a fire sign or someone who has strong fire placements, like astrological contacts to their Mars or their Jupiter, you might be you might be watching kids, or if you have a spouse who's a little bit more fiery, he might be watching the kids over the weekend, or but really I am getting a sense of like nostalgia and like a return to the past, and there's action around it. So I really do think if this is your energy, like if you're single, you could really be starting some kind of project that maybe it's some kind of creative project you used to do when you were young. You might be doing it with friends, or you might be contacting friends. But I get a sense of nostalgia, like something, from the past, or a childhood friend or someone that you knew when you were younger. But I am getting more of a romantic vibe from this, guys. I really do think that this is a masculine who's, bringing you flowers or doing something that is really a throwback to the past, or like a reconciliation, like a rekindling of the past. Now, by the middle of the week, this is going to feel really like, this is some really glorious energy here, guys. First off, you might be feeling like, you know, I'm the king of the world, you know, like if you've ever seen Titanic where Jack is like, I'm king of the world. You might be feeling like a lot of recognition. You see how everyone's looking up to him and he's just like immortalized in the statue. And underneath it, we've got the Page of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Now, this is the second wand that we see, so I am getting a little bit more of a sexual energy. I also get that, I'll come out and say it, guys, you might be feeling like really hot stuff because someone's texting you. And I'm just going to come out and say it. These videos are over 18. By the middle of the week, you might be, and again, it might have started off in the beginning of the week, like you've got some major attraction here, but I definitely feel like this attraction is based on memories, like good memories, shared memories, or you might be reconnecting from someone from your past. But by the middle of the week, you're really kind of feeling like like, you know, like really I'm on top of the world. I'm king of the world, right? And it's from text messages, right? These text messages are making you feel really like excited, really excited, and there is a sexiness to it. I really am getting like flirting from this, right? So, you know, if you're a man watching this, you might reconnect with someone, like you might give flowers to someone, and then in exchange, this person's really texting you by the middle of the week. Now, one thing I will say is that both of these cards are really about self-interest, though, guys. So you're the center of attention, and you are not thinking about what other people are doing. It is all about you. It is the you show, right? The other thing I kind of get is in the middle of the week, you could be posting things on social media. You could be putting posts on social media that just talk about, you know, that look really good, you know, like I'll be honest, I kind of think Instagram. But I am getting a sexual vibe from this, right? You might be, you know, posting some of those pictures that show you with somebody else, you know, having a good time. This is very much like I'm the man, I'm the woman vibes, right? But the fox puts their needs first, right? So all of this communication makes you feel like you're the center of attention, but the problem with that is that the moment that you feel so high, you know, you get the high off that, yes, I'm king of the world, you're not really, I don't get a sense that you're really reciprocating, or that, I'll be honest, guys, this could be a little bit of love bombing. It can be a little bit of love bombing, because the Page of Swords is not mature energy. It's actually page energy. So this is surface level. This is texting. This is sexting. The other thing that I kind of get is that you might be rekindling something with someone, and it feels like it's jumping off, like there's a real jump off. But by the middle of the week, you might be feeling like, okay, this is great. It's going exactly how I want it. I'm getting everything I want. And I'm sorry to say it this way, but by the end of the week, I'm kind of hearing that, like that screeching of brakes. Because by the end of the week, we've got the Eight of Cups and the Eight of Swords. And you see how you have all these text messages flying around, like you're like, yes, this is going to turn out, this gets great, you know. But then by the end of the week, you see two pages on the ground and someone walking away. I would be, just to be kind of careful, guys, because if you are watching this at the time the video posts, we are coming into some of the last weeks of the summer. That does mean a lot of people are going off to college. A lot of people are packing up and going places. If someone is unscrupulous, and normally the King of Wands is not unscrupulous, but the King of Wands also knows what he wants, right? Normally they're a pretty loyal person, but The only other way I can kind of read it is maybe if this is your energy, you might be kind of having a last hurrah, guys. You might be kind of having a last hurrah, where you really kind of reach out to someone and you have that one last great week. Okay, let me, I'll come out and say it, guys. It might be a one-night stand. I'm sorry. It might be a one-night stand, and then by the middle of the week, you're still feeling kind of like the euphoria, all the endorphins. You're feeling like I'm the shit. But please be careful the moment that it feels kind of one-sided, because that is kind of a sign of love bombing, when someone's making you feel like they're so great but they're not really sharing a whole lot of information about themselves. They can easily pull that energy back. And it is it's proven that love relationships are like, I hate to say it this way, it's like doing drugs. It really is. The hit of endorphins that you get to your brain, the hit of dopamine is like crack. And I hate to say it that way, but it's true. When someone love bombs you, when someone shows you a lot of attention, like, oh, you're great, what have you been doing this summer? Oh, you're so beautiful. Hey, here's my number. That's a high. That's a high. And it is danger, Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson. If it's one-sided and someone's coming on real strong and you barely know them. And it is the last week of August. Last week of August. These folks might know, hey, all of my stuff is in boxes at home. I'm about to put it on the moving truck and move to the West Coast. Let me go ahead and have a last hurrah. The other person won't know any different, and they won't know. I can just, block their number next week. And I hate to say it like that, but please be careful. Please be careful, because a little bit of this energy is, I'm seeing a little bit of this. Now, the other caution with it is this might be your energy. This might be your energy. Someone might come back around and I hate to say it this way, honey, you might be leading someone else on, Someone from your past might be coming around, and maybe you're going back to college. Maybe you're going to a new school in the fall, and you're just kind of like, oh, this is nice. Now, I will say, if you're a masculine, you might make some kind of overture to a cute little honey, and by the middle of the week she might be receptive, like, oh, okay, sure, here's my number, and you might be chatting, and it's going to make you feel like that validation's going to feel good until about the middle of the week. But by the end of the week, this person's going to start to pull away, and I'm so sorry. You got 2 8s, and it's funny, we go from 6-6, which is the number of the lovers, go from 6-6 to 8. And it's funny, we got 6 and then a sword and a wand. But by the end of the week, I do think that whatever this is, it flames up really fast and then it dims down. I do think that the same high that you got from like text messages or messages is going to be the same avenue that you kind of get this news that someone's just kind of, again, this person's got a bag and it's like, oh, okay, thanks for the week, I gotta go now, bye. And it's going to make you feel all confused. The Eight of Swords is a really complex card, because the other thing one thing that drives me crazy about the Eight of Swords is that sometimes other people can really leave you questioning your own worth by their own crappy ass actions. I swear to you, it's like what I get from the Eight of Swords is, what did I do wrong? It was so good. It was so good. Why did they just up and leave? So, please be careful. Please be careful, pile 3. If anything, if someone's coming on strong, you can enjoy that high, but don't sleep with them. If you want to give them your number, if they're texting you after 10 p.m., be like, okay, honey, sweet dreams, kisses, call me in the morning, call me when you're sober. That Evanescence song. Don't cry to me. And what I'm seeing here is rainbow. Connect to the spirit of nature. And it's so funny. I actually saw a rainbow the other night. It was very comforting. We've had a lot of rainstorms. But it just kind of means that there's going to be this does kind of feel like a storm. It does kind of feel like a storm, and you can be a man or a woman watching this. You know what? Honestly, guys, you might have had your hopes kind of pinned on connecting with someone. And maybe you gave that person a gift at the beginning of the week. Again, I feel like you had like an intention. You had a plan. I've got a plan. You got a dream, right? And maybe you implemented that dream, and by the middle of the week, you know, again, you started connecting with this person, but then not by the end of the week, it kind of fizzles. And it feels like a rainstorm. It feels like a rainstorm, but there is a rainbow after this. There is a rainbow after this. I will say, if you're a woman watching this, please do not let any man, the Fool. There's, and actually this came up in the reverse at first. There's new beginnings after this. So, just kind of like a little duck, let this roll off your back. If someone's being flaky, if someone's like, thanks for the last week of summer, bye, peace, be like, okay, you know, again, 8 of Swords, honey, you didn't do anything wrong. 8 of Swords. Do not let anybody else's flaky ass behavior taint how you feel about yourself. But the other thing that I kind of get here is that it's very easy to get into the high of validation when it's coming from other people. If validation is coming from a source outside of yourself, then you're kind of at a disadvantage because, excuse me, wow, my throat, did you hear that? My throat is closing up. Oh my gosh. I'm not in a bad way. I'm not like having an allergic reaction, but you hear me? I'm getting hoarse. Don't let it's almost like the person who's doing this to you doesn't want me to talk right now. I'm still going to talk. I'll drink some water and keep on talking. So good luck with that. You know, I'm wearing my opal. My spirit guides don't like that shit. Don't let external validation taint your perception of yourself. If someone's walking away after a week of bliss, you know, it's up to you whether or not, you know, all of these parameters are yours. So going into it, put up boundaries. If someone's love bombing you, if someone's moving too fast, if someone wants you to send them sexy texts after 10 p.m., if someone wants you to come, hey baby, come on over. No. Call me tomorrow when you're sober. I'm going to post the video to Evanescence. The look on her face as while she's playing the piano is fabulous. Just invoke that energy. And there is a rainbow after this, guys. You know, just bounce back from this. I'm seeing with the Fool. Bounce back from this. Don't let anybody's, you know, because this was probably their plan. Their plan might be that they knew that they were leaving town and they wanted to, so, you know, don't let anybody love bomb you. If you are having a glorious final hurrah of the summer, kind of check your ego. You know, try not to get too high. Try not to get too high because, you know, right now we are in the last week of the summer. It's probably going to be a little fleeting. It's going to flame up and then die down. But at the end of the week, if you're walking away or if someone else is walking away, I keep hearing the quote, you know, endings are just some other beginning's end. So there are cycles in life, right? And if those cycles are 1 week long, there's a rainbow, right? And I saw a gorgeous rainbow. Saw a gorgeous rainbow the other day, right after a storm that blew through. So this too shall pass, and it's not going to be a bad week. And just start again. Just start again. You know, don't let this. Chariot, justice. You know, just see this, and the justice is going to be a common denominator. Just see this in the cold light of logic. You know, once this is done, you know, protect yourself. Use protection if necessary, and then once it's blown over, just kind of see it in a honest, truthful life. See it for what it was. Just say, okay, someone tried to use me for a last summer hurrah, and I fell for it, or I didn't fall for it, or the texting felt great, you know, but Don't let anybody love bomb you. Bounce right back, honey. The Fool always bounces back. And the universe has got you. The universe has got you. As this week passes, you're gonna feel much better as it goes. So this too shall pass. This will blow over like a storm with a rainbow after it. This will blow over. But wow, guys, oh my gosh, this was wild. This was different this week. Yeah, we've been kind of serious. It's kind of lighthearted this week. A lot of relationship stuff too. So I don't know what's going on with the collective there, but I thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that, again, if the messages resonate, then take them. If they do not, just leave them by the wayside, you know? You can check out another reading, you can check out another reader, or you could just check back next week and we'll have new messages then. But I wish you a great second to last week of the summer, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.